Hi, this is Ezekiel, founder of Asia Forex Mentor. So in this video, I'll be revealing what I do on a weekly basis, and I'll be sharing my analysis for this week, which is the 30th of November 2015. You can refer to this video throughout the week to spot for trade setups. The analysis in this video will be my trading plan for the week. So in my weekly analysis video, I'll be sharing pairs that have a possible setup for the week or pairs that are worth taking note. Okay, so here's the first pair, GBP CAD. So GBP CAD, I've marked the highs over here, which if I can plot it at somewhere, yeah, here was all the previous highs, and so far there has not been any bars that have closed above the highest point. So which means that it is still the market for this pair GBP CAD is still consolidating sideways, right? Still below this red zone, which is very strong. So I'll just update the line towards the highest point of the latest bar. And then for the bottom part itself, what we can see is actually being helped by my Bollinger Band. Yeah, and it's being held very nicely by Bollinger Band. So for this pair itself, it does shows that price respects the levels a lot currently, and I have marked my the two trigger points, which will be the highest point over here and my Bollinger Band over here. So once there's a bar that closes below, then that would be a sign for me to go into lower time frame for either a buy or sell. So right now it's kind of at the bottom, so I'll be looking, if it goes below the Bollinger Band, then I'll be looking to sell in the shorter term time frame. Right, so this is GBP CAD. Next, XAU USD. So XAU USD it's gold, right? It's gold. So gold wise, let's see on the monthly time frame. Gold has been has reached, let me just delete this line, yeah, has reached the my white line, which is the 365. So 365 was it's a very strong rejection level. So it got rejected over here, bounces back up, and it came back down again for the second time to test the 365 again. And if I plot the line over here, let's see, this is the 365. Yeah, and I go over to the weekly time frame. Last big bar itself has closed below the 365. So it is a bearish sign, it's a bearish signal for gold itself. And if you go on to the daily itself, daily wise has also just closed below the line itself. And here was all the previous lows. Yeah, so if I just plot it down to the lowest point, let's say somewhere here. If I go on to the 4-hour time frame, yeah, here was the lowest point, and then it broke through. So price now for gold, it's down, right? It's a bearish signal. So I'll be looking on the this would be my plan for the week is on the week onwards is to look for opportunities to sell on the gold itself on the lower time frame. Okay, so this is XAU USD. So next, so this is the Hang Seng Index. I don't really talk about this, but it's just worth taking note. So on the, let's see, on the daily itself, here was the previous highs, right? And then price broke through and they came back to respect the level very well. So Hang Seng Index does respect the rejection level. So quite recently, it has broken through the previous rejection level, which is my red line over here. And then if I go on to the lower time frame, yeah, here it broke. There was a point whereby there was a gap, and here was the lowest point. So price came back down towards the previous low and got rejected, which is of no surprise. So for this pair itself, I'll be waiting for price to eventually have a proper close below it on the lower time frame. Then I'll be looking to sell for the Hang Seng Index. Yeah, next, NZD-JPY. So NZD-JPY, I've talked about this before. Yeah, so it is a pair that has been respecting, we can see all the several bars before that, and the bars over here, it is respecting my orange line, which is my 150 moving average. So it shows that this is a very strong rejection level. So price still couldn't break through the level, right? And then let's go on to the lower time frame. Lower time frame itself, you can see price is also being in a way it's in a sideways consolidation. If I plot these lines towards the lowest point over here, yeah, somewhere here, Okay, so far price is still respecting this red line a lot, and didn't really close below the red line. It just protrude and then it came back up. So all in all, price now is in a sideways consolidation. The top part is the 150 at the top, which is also the daily 150, and that's the reason why price went up here and got rejected. And then the bottom part is all the previous lows over here. So then I'll just update the line towards the lowest point. So right now price for NZD JPY is in a sideways consolidation. So these are the two crucial levels. Right now it's still pretty much sideways. Once it does hit through towards lowest point, if it does closes below, then this will be a nice setup for a downtrend or an upwards trend upwards. Okay, next pair, AUD JPY. So AUD JPY is also another pair which is pretty similar to the NZD JPY, right? They are pretty much correlated. So here was the lows, in the way the lows, so I plot the red line over here. So price came back up to test the red line once again, and it's also my 150 and my Bollinger. So therefore here is definitely going to be a rejection, which is what we are seeing over now, right? So for this pair, we can expect a rejection first, which has already started, and then after which, when it does comes back up again, then this will be a crucial area for it to go upwards. Okay, last pair, GBP CHF. So GBP CHF is also another pair that is being respected nicely. Here was the lows here, and then here was the highs, right? Highs. So and then price is now going back up towards the highs once again, towards my level over here. So this is a very strong, this is on the monthly time frame. If I go over to the weekly, let's see, so we can see over here, will be more clear cut. Here was the highs, yeah, and price came through and still couldn't break through and then came back down. So I'll just update this line a little bit towards the highest point of the latest bar over here. Yeah, so this is now a point whereby once it does break through, it should be a very nice solid setup for it to go upwards. Next stop you will probably stop would be the level somewhere over here. Yeah, so this is the pair that I'm looking at, and this is the overall analysis for the week itself. Okay, so I'll see you all next week.